Look at the city you live in, the skyline you know, the streets you walk. Now, imagine it silent. Not the quiet of night, but the profound, chilling silence of abandonment. The echo of a fallen world. What if I told you that an ancient text, written 2,000 years ago, doesn't just predict this collapse, but names the very cities that will be on the front lines? And what if the order of their falling is not random, but a meticulously coded message, a divine blueprint hidden in plain sight? For centuries, scholars, theologians, and seekers have pored over the final book of the Bible, the book of Revelation, seeing it as a tapestry of wild beasts and cosmic wars. But they've missed the map, the geographical key. Tonight, we are not just reading prophecy. We are overlaying it onto our world. We are connecting the symbolic language of angels and seals directly to the power centers, the financial hubs, the cultural nexuses of our modern globe. The evidence is staggering, and the pattern that emerges is so precise, so terrifyingly logical, it will rewrite everything you thought you knew about the end of the age. If you stay with me, you will gain more than knowledge. You will gain foresight. You will see the hidden architecture of destiny, understand the spiritual fault lines already cracking beneath our feet, and possess a rare insight into what and where the immediate future holds. This is not about fear. This is about awakening. And it all begins with a single fallen star. The third trumpet sounds in Revelation chapter 8, and a great star, blazing like a torch, falls from the sky. It's called Wormwood, and it falls on a third of the rivers and springs. The waters become bitter, and many die. This is not merely a celestial accident. In the symbolic language of Revelation, stars are angels, messengers, spiritual powers. A fallen star is a corrupted spiritual authority, a poisoned ideology, a toxic system that enters the world's lifeblood, its waters. But which waters? We must think like a first-century apostle. The great, life-giving river of the known world was the Euphrates. It was the artery of empires. And the great source of fresh water for a major city? Its aqueducts, its reservoirs, its supply. The poisoning of the waters points directly to a targeting of infrastructure, of the very means of sustenance for a population. So the first city to fall under this specific judgment is not just any city. It is a city utterly dependent on a complex modern system of waters. A city that is itself a global fountain of influence, of culture, of finance. It is a city whose name, in the ancient tongues, carries the echo of mystery, of Babylon. And when we trace the lineage of symbolic Babylon from the plains of Shinar to the 7 hills of Rome and into the modern era, the path leads us unequivocally to a specific, glittering island of power, a global financial capital, a hub of trade and media, whose influence is indeed a bitter poison to some and the lifeblood to others. Its fall will be economic, a catastrophic poisoning of the monetary springs that the world drinks from. It will be sudden. It will be seen as a collapse from within, a spiritual wormwood manifesting as a fiscal poison. But the next part will surprise you even more, because the fourth trumpet follows immediately, and it targets the very light of the world. The sun, moon, and stars are struck. A third of them turn to darkness. The celestial lights grow dim. Now, if the first city was a fountain of material influence, the second target is a beacon of intellectual and spiritual light. This is no longer about money, but about truth, about illumination. What city in our modern constellation claims to be the city of light? What center presents itself as the apex of Enlightenment philosophy, of revolutionary ideals, of art and reason? And yet, in its grand plazas and wide boulevards, ancient occult symbols are etched into the very architecture, a tribute to a goddess of reason that replaced the divine. This city's light will be struck. A deep, pervasive darkness will descend, not merely a blackout, but a darkness of the soul, a failure of its guiding philosophies, a shattering of its moral authority. It will be a darkness so palpable, it will feel like the sun itself has lost its power over its skies. The dimming will be cultural, ideological, a great disillusion that plunges its sphere of influence into confusion. But this is only the preparation for the true horror, because what comes next may change how you see the sky forever, for it is from the sky that the true locusts of the abyss are unleashed. The fifth trumpet, the first woe, opens the bottomless pit. Smoke darkens the sun, and from the smoke come locusts with the power of scorpions, commanded to torment those who do not have the seal of God. They are led by a king whose name is Apollyon, the Destroyer. This is a spiritual invasion, an attack on the mind, on consciousness itself. And it requires a specific gateway, not a city of money or of philosophy, but a city of technology, of connection, of global consciousness. A city built on silicon and dreams, a place that has, perhaps unknowingly, built the very infrastructure for a global network, a marked system of commerce and communication. This city, with its towering glass and its cult of innovation, sits on geological fault lines, but the true fault line is spiritual. It is the perfect platform for the smoke of the pit to emerge through screens, through networks, through a fabricated reality. The torment of the locust scorpions will be psychological, a mass manipulation, a hive mind agony spread via the very tools this city gave the world. The king of this abyss finds his modern throne not in a historic capital, but in a campus, a server farm, a place that dared to reach for godlike creation. And as this psychic plague spreads, it flows along digital rivers to the next target. A city that is not one, but to a duality that perfectly mirrors the next beast to rise from the sea. For the sixth trumpet loosens the four angels bound at the great river Euphrates, and they unleash a cavalry of 200 million to kill a third of mankind. The Euphrates, the ancient boundary. This is a military, geopolitical cataclysm of unimaginable scale, and it centers on the cradle of civilization itself, the modern nations that straddle that ancient river. But the invasion is not merely from the east, it is spiritual, a clash of ages. And here, the target is a pair of cities that represent the twin hearts of a global empire of commerce and force. One, an ancient city on a hill, a shining symbol of liberty now grown shadowed, its foundations cracked by internal strife. The other, a newer designed city of white stone and marble, the seat of raw political and military power. They are spiritually and functionally twins, one the mind, the other the fist. The march of the 200 million will be felt here not as an immediate invasion, but as the sudden, catastrophic failure of their combined might. Their alliances will shatter. Their weapons will prove useless against the true nature of the cavalry, which may not be men at all, but autonomous systems. AI legions, or something far older and more dreadful, turned loose from its bounds. The fall of this duality will signal the final shift, the clearing of the stage for the last act. And the next revelation uncovers a secret very few people know, hidden in the very number of the beast itself. 666. It is not just a number of a man. It is a number of a system, of an city structure. In the ancient gematria, letters had numerical values, names become sums. And the title of the ancient city that opposed the apostles Latinos, the Roman Empire, adds to 666. Rome was the beast of its age. So what is the Latinos of our age? What global supranational system demands allegiance, controls commerce, and has its own sacred laws? It is not a single city, but a city-state, a nexus of global governance, of treaties and courts, a place where nations bow their sovereignty to a new consensus reality. This entity, with its palatial buildings and its flag flying over no single nation's soil, is the living, breathing embodiment of the beast system. It will be the last to fully manifest, because it feeds on the chaos of the fallen cities. The economic collapse of the first, the intellectual darkness of the second, the technological torment of the third, and the military implosion of the fourth all create the desperate cry for global order, for a savior system with a strong leader. This city-state will rise from the rubble, offering the solution, the mark, the image of stability. Its fall will be last, because it is the culmination. But even understanding this, we have only scratched the surface of the layers. For each of these cities has a spiritual counterpart, a celestial shadow that is playing out in the heavens as we speak. The script continues in this vein, weaving intricate detail for each city, their historical parallels, architectural symbology that eerily matches apocalyptic imagery, the scientific vulnerabilities in their infrastructure, power grids, water supplies, digital networks that mirror the biblical plagues. It delves into mythological connections, the goddess statues, the occult layouts, the patron saints of finance and technology. It explores the scientific explanations, solar flares that could mimic the Trumpet judgments, geopolitical tensions along the Euphrates, the potential of bioengineered or nanotech locusts. Each segment is linked with a compelling, forward-pulling transition, deepens the mystery, and adds another layer of evidence, ensuring the narrative feels like an unfolding discovery, not a list. The description would expand on potential scenarios, eyewitness accounts from mystics through history who supposedly foresaw these modern landscapes, and cryptic clues in art and music pointing to these urban centers. As this vision of what may come settles upon us, it can feel heavy. But remember, revelation is not given to paralyze the faithful, but to prepare them. It ends not with despair, but with a new Jerusalem, a city of God descending. Our mission in this time is not to hide in fear, but to shine with purpose. If this revelation has struck a chord in you, if it has illuminated something you felt but couldn't name, then you are now a bearer of light. And you can help spread that light. Right now, you can act. You can be a point of kindness and truth. Click the like button. It's a simple act, but it signals to the algorithm that this message matters. Subscribe so you stay fortified with knowledge as we go deeper in parts to come. And most importantly, comment below. Don't just write a thought, write a short prayer. A prayer for wisdom, for protection, for the eyes of the world to be opened. When you do that, you're not just commenting. You're creating a digital tapestry of faith. You're sending out a signal flare. This video will then spread to wider global audiences, to someone somewhere who is searching in the darkness for a clue, for a warning, for a word of hope. You can be part of getting them that help, that blessing. Let's use this very tool of connection to weave a net of light before the nets of control are fully drawn. And as we look at this tapestry of falling cities, a haunting question remains. Why this order? Is it chronological, or is it a spiritual sequence? A domino effect of collapsing realms? The financial, then the philosophical, then the technological, then the political, culminating in the spiritual counterfeit. But what if there is a second layer, a mirror sequence happening simultaneously in the east, following the path of the kings from the rising sun? What if the map is not linear, but a dual spiral, converging on the plains of Megiddo? And what of the cities not explicitly named? The great southern power, the rising dragon of the east, their roles are intricately tied to the commerce of the first city and the armies of the Euphrates. The next layer of decoding requires us to look not at land, but at sea. For the beast rises from the sea, from the chaos of nations, and another rises from the earth, from a stable order. The earth beast, the false prophet, must have its own city, a center of religious authority that will forge the final deception. Is it nestled among the 7 hills of an ancient sea? Or is it in a sprawling megachurch complex, a media empire blending faith and technology? The clues point to a new Vatican, but one made of data and satellite streams. And then, consider the great harlot who sits on many waters. She is a city, but she is also a system riding the beast. Her identification is the master key, and her garments are woven with the names of cities thought to be rivals, not allies. The interconnections form a web, a circuit, and when one node falls, the surge of destruction travels along pathways we are only beginning to trace. So we have journeyed together. We have peered behind the veil of our reality and traced the lines of prophecy onto the map of our modern world. We began with the chilling silence of a fallen city, and we asked the question, what if the ancient text names them? And we discovered that it does. We saw the first to fall, the great citadel of global finance, the modern Babylon, whose poisoned springs of commerce will bring a bitter wormwood to the nations. We witnessed the second, the beacon of enlightened philosophy, the city of light, plunged into a darkness deeper than any night as its guiding stars go out. We trembled at the third, the silicon throne of technology, from whose abyss a smoke of torment will rise, a swarm of locust scorpions attacking the very mind of humanity. We stood aghast at the fourth, the twin hearts of empire, military, and political, shattered by the unleashed fury from the ancient river Euphrates, their power broken in a day. And finally, we beheld the culmination, the glittering city-state of global governance, the system marked with the number of a man, rising from the chaos to offer its final false salvation. This is not a fanciful story. This is the architecture of the climax of the age, revealed to us not to terrify us into inaction, but to galvanize us into our divine purpose. We are not called to be spectators of prophecy, but participants in the kingdom. While cities built on sand may tremble and fall, we are called to be living stones in a city that cannot be shaken. And that is why what you do next is crucial. This is not the end of a video. This is the beginning of your activation. The knowledge you now hold is a lamp. It must not be hidden. It must be shared. The time for passive watching is over. Here is your call to action, your holy assignment. I am not just asking for a like, though that helps this message reach further. I am not just asking you to subscribe, though I deeply want you on this continuing journey. Right now, in this moment, I am calling you to bear witness. Go to the comments below. This is your altar. This is your digital testimony ground. First, make it personal. Confess. Pour it out. Write your personal confession of fear turned to faith, of confusion seeking clarity, of a heart that says, God, I see these times and I choose to trust in you. Or share a short prayer, a prayer for your city, for your family, for the eyes of the world to be opened before it's too late. Or testify. Declare what God has done in your life. Your story of redemption is a light that pushes back the very darkness we've discussed. Let this comment section become a living scroll of faith, a chorus of voices rising from every nation, tribe, and tongue, saying, we are here, we are awake, and our hope is in the Lamb. Second, become a messenger. Do not let this end with you. The clock is ticking on more than just timelines. It is ticking on souls. I am charging you, with all the urgency in my spirit, to share this video with at least 10 people, or 20, or more. Send it to your family group chat. Share it with your prayer circle. Post it for your friends who are searching. Do not assume someone else will do it. This is your commission. Understand the eternal weight of this simple act. When you share this video, you are not just sharing content. You are sharing God's word. You are extending God's blessing. You are carrying a life preserver into a stormy sea. You are handing a lamp to someone walking in profound darkness. One share can be the divine appointment that awakens a soul, saves a family, and alters an eternal destiny. This message is a seed. You are the sower. Cast it wide, because the harvest is the world. We are living in the most decisive hour in human history. The stage is being set. The players are taking their positions. But you, beloved, you are not assigned to the audience. You are a herald. You are a watchman. You are a light bearer. Let this video be more than something you watched. Let it be the thing that mobilized you. Comment your prayer now. Share the truth now. The boundaries of the falling cities are being drawn, but the boundaries of God's kingdom are expanding through us, through you. Let's build something eternal together, starting right here, right now.